You. So I'm streaming a little earlier so I can watch the Eagles game. So Eagles game's in 2 hours. So about 10:01 it's sayonara. I didn't stream last week, so because of the game. It really, like I like to get a lot of shit done on Sunday, and 3 hour football game kind of kills you on what you need to do. But so the stream had to suffer. So another week without AJ, and I don't feel bad at all. I really don't. Thought I would maybe. Fuck them. These fucking people got to learn. You want to talk shit on Charlie Kirk, you got to get the fuck off my channel. It's that simple. I'd call his weed job, but I doubt if he, doubt if they give a fuck. What's up, Steve? I know. Yeah, he was talking shit on Charlie Kirk last week. My boss too. Like when he first heard about it, he genuinely was dismayed, and I actually thought he was maybe going to cry. I mean, I could be wrong, but then, a few days later, he's like adding qualifiers, like, well, he did say racist things. No, he didn't. Well, didn't he say? And he gives me a quote, right? Yeah, he said it, but you can't. These fucking leftards. It's extremely difficult to try to reason with these people. You just, and he even admitted, yeah, you can take things out of context. Well, that's exactly what you did. Like, why would you say somebody's racist without listening to what the fuck they said? And not just that quote. Shit drives me nuts, man. I can't. It's difficult for me to try to deal with these people. They live by clips and quotes. You know what I mean? They believe in climate change. They want to murder babies. Everything is racism, and they want to call you fascist when they're the fascists, really. I mean, when you take a look at it, they're talking about, what about all the January 6th violence? Well, nobody fucking died January 6th, but Ashley Babbitt, an unarmed white woman killed by a black policeman. Yeah, wherever the riots, wherever's the outrage. You know what I mean? Yeah, it does, Steve. Fucking left-hard sexual stuff. I'm telling you, man, especially the pseudo-intellectual types like David Pakman, like these fucking commies that come on. There's this one guy, Jovan Bradley. Oh, my God. He's black. He sounds like a white guy. He's apparently he went to college. I guess I'm supposed to be impressed. But, he's trying to tell me men have periods. That basically periods are periods of time when he knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, right? So men bleed, and he's telling me, yeah, like how do you deal with somebody like that? I was listening to Tucker Carlson, and he had Brett Weinstein on, and I think it was Tucker, yeah, and he was like, Brett Weinstein, and I'm paraphrasing, like, in a nutshell, like, they're trying to get you to believe they're indoctrinating you with shit that just simply isn't true. Like J6, that's bullshit. Like the election, yeah, 2020, climate change, which is, men can become women. This is by design. Because you couldn't be that incompetent. You know what I mean? So the people that are pushing this kind of shit, whoever they are, I don't know who they are. Maybe some rich family somewhere, a bunch of families, I don't know. But it couldn't all be incompetence, So it's got to, If you'll believe those things, then you'll believe anything. You know, I remember when in the 70s, I was a kid, they were pushing an ice age. Our teacher told us. I went home. I said to my dad, "How are we going to get warm?" He said, "Jimmy, it's all bullshit." And he was right. Because it wasn't long after, and then they started talking about global warming. That was the thing for decades. And then when they figured out we're actually in a cooling phase, now they're calling it climate change. I mean, wasn't it Al Gore that said, the U.S. will be flooded by 2002 or something? And didn't they say we'd run out of oil by the year 2000? That was bullshit too, because oil's a renewable resource. So everything's a fucking, you can't trust anything from these so-called experts, the news, the legacy media. I get more info listening to fucking YouTubers. And not that I'm some fucking authority on any of this shit. Trust me, I'm not. But, I do listen to a variety of people. Steve said, I remember seeing Spock, Leonard Nimoy, scare us in the 70s with impending ice age. Yeah, he used to narrate that show In Search Of. I kind of like that show. Well, I'm sure Leonard, you think he researched it? No, they're paying him to fucking do a voiceover, basically, do a narration. I used to like that show. It was called In Search Of. I liked his voice, He was supposedly a fucking chain smoker. He's a lot different than the character he played. Yeah, and there's a couple guys at work that think, Charlie Kirk's this big racist. And it's clear to me that they've never listened to him. They heard a clip played, boom, he's a racist. And I see multitude of black people sticking up for Charlie Kirk on the internet. It's amazing how they, take one sentence out of what you say with no context at all. And then they want to make fun of you for bitching about no context. Like, you can't win with these leftards. They're brainwashed. And when you're brainwashed, you don't know that you're brainwashed, So, I mean, I was brainwashed too, till my brother told me the Trayvon Martin thing. I thought George Zimmerman was a big racist. I wanted them to get him. And I think it was 9 months into it, my brother pointed me towards an article. NBC fired 2 underlings because they messed with the 911 tape to make Zimmerman seem racist. And it was like a tiny story. It wasn't prominently displayed. And I started looking at other news articles, and goddamn, they didn't bullshit every one of them. See, they get these people into a frame of mind where you're looking for racism under every rock. You know what I mean? And you'll find it if that's your mindset. And now my mindset is like, almost every story I see, this could be bullshit. Let me see if any other news organizations are, touting this. Let me wait a couple days. I'm open to new information. Yeah, I hear you, Steve. People can call me a racist. It's what Orville Duck's back. Yeah, I know. It's just what do they call people that don't really research shit? Normies. And not that I'm some authority on any of this shit, but I just know when I'm being bullshitted and lied to. You know what I mean? That much I can figure out. Yeah, you want the step-by-step way of that they did it to you? Talk to my brother. He'd probably be able to explain that better than me. because I can't remember shit. I remember some things, but politics is so convoluted that like you'd have to be like a human encyclopedia of what happened before, what they said before, what they're saying now. It's very difficult to argue with one of these liberals, and most of what they believe is a lie, or it's half truth twisted up. Charlie Kirk's a racist. He said racist things. Yeah, so that means he's a racist. Yeah, that instead of calling him a racist, he said racist things. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Yeah, it's something else, man. It's something else. And let me tell you something. Trump in the United States was a cultural icon for decades. I mean, he's listed, I think, over 100 times in rap songs, and yeah. And the minute he ran as a Republican for president, the shit show started from that moment. From that fucking moment. The View, they loved him. He was on there 2-3 times, hugging all the women. Oprah Winfrey loved them. Seemed to be able to support him if he ran for president. The moment he ran as a Republican, they all talked shit. Chris calls. I remember Dad watched the news during dinner. The news said Ice Age was coming. We started asking questions. He got up and shut off the TV and said, "No more TV during the dinner." Yeah, my father had a straight up way of talking to me when I was a kid. He was like, "Jimmy, it's all bullshit." And he walked away. And my old man was right. He was right. They made all these predictions. What was it? AOC around the time Trump was elected. New York will be underwater in 12 years. Now, curiously enough, there were sections of New York City, I think, that did flood for the first time ever or whatever in the last 5 years. I forget when it was. But it's certainly not underwater. But it's just, oh my God. And with this AI thing, like my brother likes this AI, I don't trust it at all. I don't trust it at all. It's fake, and we got enough bullshit regarding humans. We got enough liars and manipulators out there. We don't need, something that can be manipulated easily by anybody. Because once you get somebody to believe something, that's a powerful thing. Most people don't want to admit that they were lied to or manipulated or duped. And I think this AI thing, I think it's gonna hurt a lot of people. I think it's gonna be a net zero for human development. I really do. And now they're showing you all the fun stuff. Yeah, how to make music, make comedy skits, shit like that. But yeah. I think it's going to be catastrophic. I really do. I don't trust it at all. You get bullshitted too much. It's hard enough deducing the truth. And see, it's visual. Like, that really, when somebody says something, you can watch them saying it. That's a different thing rather than reading what they say. It's more powerful, I guess. It's more believable. The end is nigh. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's the end, but I just don't think it's going to be a good thing. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people out of work. And my boss was talking about, well, they said the same thing with, the horse and buggy as opposed to the car. No, this is completely different. This is different. This is different. And I Googled the football stats for last week's game, right? And I get an AI answer that's giving the running back passing yards. So wrong. I think what's going to happen is people are going to rely on this AI thing so heavily because it makes you lazy, basically, right? And one day it's going to be wrong about something that affects humans. It's going to be wrong, and it'll be violence or panic, or I don't know. I just know it's not good. I can feel it. I mean, you think they made that movie Terminator for nothing? Yeah. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that kill all the robots. Jimmy from Philly. Yeah, but Steve, there's enough people that like it. Like my brother, he really likes making this AI music. You know what I mean? Like he's got a channel, I think. But I've had discussions with him about it. He doesn't seem he don't think about it the way I do. I don't trust AI at all. I just don't trust it. And I don't think it's going to become sentient. I don't think any of that bullshit. I just think it's going to be relied on too heavily, and it's going to be wrong about something, or somebody's going to figure out a way to fucking tweak it. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Kroll said the world's oldest sea level measurement station is at Fort Denison, Sydney Harbor, Australia. It shows sea level has risen a total of 0.0 inches in 150 years. I had to convince Grok the oceans are connected. Well, forget this older guy. He's like a financial whiz, or supposedly he is, and he's very crass. He says fuck, and he's always dressed very nicely. He's an older guy, like an old curmudgeon. And he was saying, climate change, it's all bullshit. He said, if it wasn't bullshit, the banks wouldn't be financing beachfront properties. Like if they really believed that the seas were going to rise and all, they wouldn't be financing properties, and that makes sense. You don't think they looked into it? Yeah. Why would they risk their money? I just think it's just so much bullshit. It really is. I'm fucking tired. Yeah, last week's game, the end of the game. Let me see if I can find that. Play it for you guys. Fuck. Give me 1 second. Oh, God. Oh, fucking prick. Come on. Oh, come on. All right, here it is. Let me set this up for you. So there's 3 seconds left. The Eagles are up by a point. The Rams are going to kick a sure field goal. It's 36 yards. A nothing field goal, right? Watch.
Joshua Carty has it blocked again. This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake. Eagles hang on. How fast he just...
The same guy that blocked it caught it. That was fucking awesome. That's why I didn't stream last week. Oh, shit. Okay, what the fuck am I doing? There we go. That was awesome. Chris Paul Rock kept telling me the oceans were 7 inches per year. Yeah, well, somebody's telling it to do that, right? Who? Who's telling it to tell you that? That's what worries me about AI too. Who's going to be programming it? Who? Some woke motherfucker that thinks men can become women? If you believe that, right, that men can become women, there's not a whole lot you won't go for. If they can get you to believe that, you ever shown some of these people getting fired at these universities for talking shit on Charlie Kirk? And the one professor was talking about, the gist of it was, I'm sympathy for Charlie Kirk, but Charlie Kirk doesn't support abortion, right? And she's talking about women, but she phrases it like this: people that can give birth. What? People that can give birth. Unfucking believable. Yeah, Steve. So if lefties are going to be programming this AI shit, it's just more indoctrination, more manipulation, more brainwashing. But let me tell you something. These legacy media outlets, they're good. Sometimes they get me believing something. And then I remember, let me see what my side has to say. Let me see if my side's going to lie to me too. And well, they locked up Comey. Good. Yeah, my boss said to me, yeah, that Republican. Yeah, Comey's about as Republican as John McCain was. I guarantee he doesn't go to jail. And he should go to jail with what he did. And then he does that 86-47 shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's mocking Trump. Like, how stupid could you be, Comey? How stupid could you be? Yeah, but I'm worried about AI because everybody's going to be using it. It's going to infiltrate everything. It's going to be like cell phones. People can't get away from it. You know what I mean? And you're going to be basing all your decisions and shit like that on a possible humbug. What's up, Vamps? Yeah, I'm programming. I'm streaming a little earlier because I'm going to watch the Eagles game at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to sign off about 10 to 1. E-Money Bentley, what's up? I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, that should be a good game too, because Tampa Bay's undefeated, and so are the Eagles. So they're both 3-0. So Tampa Bay, Eagles are playing Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. So, and they're undefeated. So are the Eagles, but I think there's only 3 undefeated teams in the NFL as of now. The ending of the game last week, man, I was pissed at the end. Well, that's a chip shot. But you know what? They blocked the field goal just before that. Their last field goal attempt, they blocked it. And that big black dude, what the fuck is his name? Real dark skinned guy. He fucking blocks it, and then he picks it up and runs it in for a TD. You think they're going to blow him out at home? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the Browns never won a Super Bowl, did they? Nope. It's funny how the AI will eventually become based with truth. Then you have to lobotomize and re-educate it. I don't know. I mean, look. I mean, it depends on how they set up the AI. Why would it recognize truth if it's not programmed to do that? Or it'll be programmed to base everything off trusted sources. Yeah. These fucking people are lying to us all the time. All the fucking time. In medicine, in law, in politics, in culture. The left constantly pushing racism. Constantly. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, AA will be a kind of God. I just think, I don't think AI is going to be. I mean, it'll be good for some people. People are going to make money off it. But if you're one of the poor saps that gets hoodwinked with it. Oh man, what's up, boss? So I got my monitor here, and the computer's over there. Because let me see if I can show you. So that's what I've been looking at for the last year and a half. See the green band? Shit. So this dude gave me this monitor and the cable, and I remember what's his name? Unlimited Liquid was telling me to do this. I think my brother told me to. AI will be president one day. Well, like I said, now they're showing you all the they're winning you over with the enjoyable things, the entertaining things that AI can do. Like I said, my brother got a music channel with it. He enjoys doing it. That's great. They'll get people hooked on this shit. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be good, man. I really don't. And I have no scientific data to say, it's just, I think common sense says it's not going to be good because it can make you believe things that are not true. It's already happened to me numerous times. I'm sure it's happened to you on the internet. You see a video, you think, wow. And somebody in the comments ruins it for you. Yeah, that was AI. It said AI is an infant right now, cute little baby. Yeah. You can look at it like that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't trust it. I really don't. I think people are going to make a lot of money off it. Like if AI is so smart, then it ought to be able to tell us who killed JFK. It ought to be able to tell us who really won the 2020 election. It ought to be able to tell us if men can become women, right? But if it goes with the leftist ideology, then it's bullshit. Let's face it. You know it. Men become women. Yeah. Yeah, they're, I went to the University of Pennsylvania for a prostate exam and all. And on the paperwork, they have you fill out, what are your pronouns? And I look at it, I'm shaking my head, and the doctor asked me, what's the problem? I said, I feel like walking out. This is disrespectful. I have a name. That's how I wish to be addressed. You know what I mean? You can throw a Mr. in there if you want. I don't really require it, but select your pronouns, and it gives you a fucking list. Like, what? And see, if I go, it's not a big deal, then what I'm doing is I'm fucking supporting. You know what I mean? I don't support that fucking nonsense at all. Fucking ridiculous. What are your pronouns? My pronouns are fuck and you. Yeah, bitch said my pronouns are fuck your pronoun. It's like I tried to go on this TikTok live the other day, right? I mean, there's this like pseudo-intellectual commie, right? Yes, my pronouns. I said, no, I don't play the pronoun game. He's like, well, I's a pronoun. I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to play your game. Then he kept, like running his mouth. I'm like, this is commie speak. He kind of got a chuckle out of that. I said, like mansplaining and cop-splaining. Well, this is commie-splaining. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're gaslighting me until I give up, and I'm not going to give up. Yeah, I agree. Vince said, if you have a delusion and identity problem, then what does that have to do with me? Not my problem. Well, to get you to go along with their delusion supposedly makes them feel better and less likely to kill themselves. Can you imagine that? They blame this high suicide rate, right, amongst transsexuals, even after they get this operation, which is supposed to change everything for them, right? Well, they still have a high suicide rate, and they blame it on the non-acceptance of them from most of society. Well, I mean, if you look like Steve, I'm not calling you Susie. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And somehow I'm a bigot? Somehow I'm transphobic? I'm not afraid of them. I think it's fucking weird. And if I was the Grand Poobah, would I stop it? No, go live your life like that. But, you know, stop reading books to children. Stop with the flags in the classroom. The only flag that should be in that classroom is the United States flag. So, Jimmy from Canada, and I hate liberals too. Fuck Mark Carney. Carney's Canadian. See, I don't know much about Canadian politics. I do know that the liberals have lost their minds up there. I do know that. I got plenty of Canadian folks on my channel. I had a bigger channel, but YouTube stuck it up my ass 3 times. So it's my 4th attempt at the channel. And all my strikes were for either medical misinformation or election misinformation. Yeah. Like I'm some great influencer, because I don't believe the 2020 election was legitimate. And I don't believe any of this shit with COVID. I think they lied about everything. Liberals are communists in Canada. Well, they're communists here too. And I don't think many of these liberals, I don't think they realize that they're being used and manipulated. I don't think they realize that. I really don't. WPG Transit Sucks 03. That's a hell of a handle there. I'm from Winnipeg. There's a huge drug and homeless problem downtown. Also, there's a crime problem here. It's getting worse from the catch and release system. It's the same way here in Philly. The homeless problem is worse where there's drugs. Go figure. Most of these people that are homeless, I would say probably 90% or higher, have some drug problem. WPJ stands for Winnipeg. Okay. Well, do you really want to identify yourself? I mean, you're from Canada. Can't they fuck with you for shit you say online? I know they can in Britain. You fucking knock on your door. Excuse me, sir, did you say men can't become women? Well, here's a court date, or, put your hands behind your back. We'll take you to the station. Don't worry, you'll be out in an hour. Right, Vance. I say that over and over. Look at England. They're facing the problem we would have had if not for President Trump. Right. They can go for it. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I will watch myself. WPG. I mean, protect yourself. You don't need these idiots pissing you off for what you say. And then, what really kills me? The fucking liberals with the censorship. So Jimmy Kimmel outright lies and tells everybody, that basically the shooter was a MAGA guy, right? Which at that point when he did that, it was well known. There were interviews with the father, with the mother. They're MAGA, but some have been leaning heavily left in the last year. He got a trans roommate, girlfriend, boyfriend. See, that's the thing. People should not be able to outright lie to you. But, they want to cry about censorship, but They're fucking cheering on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter for censoring conservatives. And then they tell you it's not happening. It happened to me. What are you talking about? This is my 4th attempt at the channel because of the overlords at YouTube. What the fuck? What about the vaccine statement? Only vax people can go to the hospital. Yeah, I think that was bullshit, though. I don't think the majority of hospitals would stop you from coming in. I remember, some of you have been with me a while. Remember when them 2 splibs were trying to break in my room? Well, I called 911, and the 911 operators, have you gotten a vaccine? And I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do? And you could see this person that was, like, didn't like asking me that. She said, well, it's, I'm told to ask. And I didn't bust her chops too much. But I was like, you know what? I think many of my YouTube comments are being censored now. Well, I think the censorship has died down because, let's face it, at least on YouTube, because I haven't gotten a strike in, I can't even remember. And Facebook is still censoring. I'm in Facebook jail all the time. Just got out yesterday. But see, I never gave a fuck. I'll say what the fuck I want. Yeah, Facebook basically took me down years ago, and I made a fake account. And all my friends that get, of course, I like the same kind of people that speak their mind. So their account would get taken down. They just make a fake account, and I swore I would never do it because it gave me a break from Facebook. But then when they completely killed my account, I had to make another account. But if they banned me for 30 days. I don't make up an account to get on Facebook. Like, fuck that. Well, I had to make up an email and fucking do some tricky shit to watch the Eagles game with a free 2-day trial for Fubo. It's only about my 9-1. Just got to use it like a different credit card and a debit card. And OG here. I remember like it was yesterday. Tommy, Abington P, Commie Drew. I remember Commie Drew. Commie Drew was on last week. Ian Moore, Miss Awesome Sauce. Yeah, Awesome Sauce got me fucking locked up for tapping her on the shoulder. What a cunt. And then she sprayed the whole downstairs with the fucking fire extinguisher. What a cunt. Not much of a football fan, more into hockey. I was into hockey in the 70s with the Flyers. I was a kid. Every gas station that, like you had this booklet you could fill up with the player stickers, and you got stickers every time your dad gassed up, Me and my brother were into it. We were kids, fucking 10 years old. Yeah, Ian Moore hasn't come on. It's hard for me to even get him to respond to me on that. What's it called? Dangerfield channel. I don't know. I heard he was doing real bad for a while. Then I heard he was doing a little better. I guess he's, Flyers won the Stanley Cup 74, 75. Yeah, I was at the 74 parade. My father brought me. I was 11. So I was there. We walked from the stadium to like City Hall, the length of the parade or whatever. Yeah, like I think City Hall to the stadium. Yeah. I remember this watermelon truck broke down, and all the fans jumped on the truck, and they were throwing fucking watermelon at people. People were eating watermelon for like a mile. I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan. Yeah, I was hockey was really big in the Philadelphia area in the 70s. And I don't think the Flyers were around for that long at that point. The Broad Street Bullies and all. And because of the Flyers, they literally changed the rules. Now they'll give you a penalty if they think you're going to fight. And they break up the fights real quick. They bitch about the Flyers, but what team did the NHL have played the Russians? The Flyers. The Flyers were beating them up so bad they skated off the ice and said they were leaving. And Snyder, I think it was Snyder, the owner of the Flyers, told him, "You leave, you ain't getting paid." Boss said he jumps in sometimes in the chats and telegrams. He's taking it easy, I guess. Walking his dog in nature. Hockey is huge in Canada in general. Yeah, well, I think it was the Canadians that brought hockey to the U.S., right? I mean, most of the Flyers players were Canadian. The Flyers did have this black dude, Ben Simmons. He was pretty fucking good. Not too many black guys. What was it? Chris Rock said, where do we figure out a way to heat a hockey rink? Pretty fucking funny. Oh man. Yeah, I'm glad I'm able to stream before the game. You know what I mean? I still have my wash and my food shopping to do, but Wayne Gretzky. I watched that motherfucker kill a penalty one time. He just skated up and down the ice. And players were just standing looking at him. Like, I think it was an unwritten rule. You didn't check Gretzky. You didn't fuck with him. Yeah, I watched 74, 75 season. I watched all of them games. Me, my brother, and my dad used to sit around the TV screaming at the TV. But me, my brother, and my dad probably watched the Flyers for 4 or 5 years. Hockey was pretty big on the street in Philadelphia. Hey, Jay, if you're watching, go fuck yourself. Charlie Kirk's a racist. Okay. It's all about the money. Isn't it always? Isn't everything about money? Imagine if there were no grocery stores or no money. You'd have to go into the woods and compete with people for food. Well, and the fact is, people wouldn't live in certain areas because there's no game, right? So I see deer every day when I landscape because I travel out to the suburbs where the beautiful people live. I used to live out there with Wi-Fi, not for TV, but I screwed that up. I didn't see as many homeless people in Edmonton as I do in Winnipeg. Well, I think you're seeing homeless too because, let's face it, rent has gotten so fucking ridiculous. Like here in Philly, for a half-ass apartment, you're paying $1,200 a month. $1,200. It's just gotten ridiculous. I mean, I remember as a kid, my mom basically threw me and my brother out of the house, right? Not literally, but she told us we had to leave. So me and my brother got an apartment. I think it was like $550. It wasn't a big deal to pay that. And now even if you get a roommate, it's a chunk of change. 1 to 2 bedroom apartment here costs $1,600. Yeah, you can get that here. But the nicer the neighborhood, the more you're going to pay. And then when your lease is up, the landlord can jack your rent to whatever they want. They can tell you $5,000 a month. Now a decent room's like $800 a month. I started renting rooms because I had to pay child support. And, all the bullshit I put up with this woman for this kid that won't even acknowledge me now, So it was, like if it wasn't for this fucking kid, I'd have ran away from this woman screaming. Yeah, and this kid acts like I'm the fucking enemy, right? It's fucking unbelievable. You have a roommate, you only pay half. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Today, you got to have a roommate. You really do. I mean, so how did you find my channel there, my Canadian friend, WPG? That's what I'm going to call you, WPG. How did you find my channel? It's so much better watching myself on a clear screen. I can't believe I was using the screen like that. I heard of you from the Weed is Heat. Okay. Yeah, this is my 4th attempt at a channel. I don't have many subscribers. My brother's got a channel too, RPW Media. It's basically a political channel. My brother's probably been studying politics for 40 years. So he's pretty knowledgeable about what's going on. And he did red pill me with the Trayvon Martin thing. I believed everything the fucking news media told me. Come to find out, 98% of it was a lie. And still is. Still is. Even after Trump has basically exposed them. But, you know, I get it. People don't have the time in the day to, you know, research things. You see Comey's response to charges? What a fucking joke. So, WPG says transit sucks. So, what do you pay to get on a bus there or a train? Yeah, that's my brother's channel there. That's my brother's channel. Oh, shit. Because we just had a big thing with the public transit here in Philadelphia. Some lawyer took them to court. They were going to kill all these buses and reduce the schedule and charge more money. And some lawyer got them to stop doing that. They still raised the money, but you know, it was $250 to get on the bus. Now it's $290. It's $345 Canadian. All right. So convert $345 Canadian to US. Convert $345 Canadian to US. Yes, no. Convert $3.45 Canadian to US. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. You think it was just give me a fucking straight answer? Nope. Nope. Jesus fucking Christ. I think it's about the same, right? $247 American. Yeah, they raised it. Okay, so it was $250. They raised it to $290. Now, to me, that's not a big deal. Yeah. Everything else went up. You know? But see, I can get that initial bus and I can ride other buses too for that initial price. Whereas before they made you pay another $1 for each transfer. So you had to pay extra for the first transfer. And now they got these key cards we use. Well, you know what happens with this public transit shit? Because the government subsidizes it, the tax money pays for it. So you got people in there, they're not trying to make a profit. So they're not really running. It's not like a private business where profit is their number one goal, right? To make money. They don't have the same mentality. So, it's not the same thing. I use this car called a Pego car. My mistake. The fare is actually $3.35 Canadian, which is even cheaper, right? Well, Philly is one of the 2 or 3 highest amounts in the nation in the U.S. I think. But to me, I mean, for the longest time, I was paying $5 to get to and from work. So it's not that bad. It's really not. When I was riding the train, I was paying $47 a week. And the train is a much nicer ride. You got a different class of people. Get on the bus. And listen, I live in a black neighborhood. And these fucking people on the bus, man. And it ain't most of them, but there's always some asshole that has to play on speakerphone on the bus. I don't want to hear your music. I don't want to hear your YouTube. I don't want to hear your loud arguments. And there's always somebody. There's always some black guy or girl. Just fucking no consideration for people. It's fucking it's like nobody else exists. This guy was on the phone. Just yesterday. Arguing with somebody, telling him I'll beat your ass. And went on for like 5 minutes. Nobody blinked an eyebrow. I'm like, what the fuck? I got earbuds in and I couldn't fucking hear my phone. We only have buses, no trains. Well, the trains here are mostly to get outside of Philly. I mean, they come into Philly, but if you live in Philly and you take a train, you're pretty much trying to go outside of Philly or in the center city, which ain't far from here at all. Now I'm paying now like $30 a week for transportation. Like, I really don't want a car. If I need a car, I just Uber. You know what I mean? Like, the car's just too much fucking hassle. Especially in this neighborhood, you got to worry about somebody breaking your window, trying to get in your car. Because I see broken windows. At least once a week, there's a new car all taped up. You got to worry about that. You got to pay insurance. You got to pay gas. You got to fix it. It's just, Now, if you go somewhere else in Pennsylvania, public transportation is either non-existent or it sucks. I mean, it's bad. And you don't have different routes going, you got a bus taking you, maybe to downtown, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah, this might have to be my new time. Because all these Eagles games are at 1. So, yeah, the Comey thing, he's just so fucking full of shit. I hope they put him in prison. He really should go to prison. He lied to Congress. He lied to the FISA court. And now they're saying there were 274 plainclothes FBI agents in the crowd at J6, where they thought there was only about 24 of them. I think that Ray is going to be the next one that they investigate, if they're not already investigating. I mean, what they did to Trump, somebody should go to jail for that. There should be a bunch of people that go to jail. Like, and Comey was allowed to turn himself in respectfully. You're Roger Stone. Wake him up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's 60-some years old with his wife. Hustle him off in his pajamas, I think. CNN was already there to film it. Like, come on, man. I don't know how many of Trump's lawyers they locked up. And now they're bitching when Trump's locking them up for what they did to him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's retribution. Well, yeah, it is. Huh. You did some slimy shit, you got to go to jail. What the fuck? Chris Cole. Now every time I think of mass transit, I think of the Ukrainian girl getting stabbed in the neck by a 14-time convict. Yeah, ain't that some shit? And now I never heard this on the video, but there's a bunch of people commenting that he can be heard saying, "I got that white girl. I got that white girl." Now, supposedly, the family was trying to get him committed. Apparently, he has severe mental problems, right? And the mother, somewhat recently, tried to have him committed, but the court wouldn't let her do it because she wasn't his guardian. Like, if you ain't gonna listen to a man's mother, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck. Yeah, you gotta be fucking sick in the head to fucking stab somebody in the neck. So what? I was in a one of these halfway houses down in South Philly, and there was this fucking idiot, Dave, and what he was supposedly ADD and all this other bullshit. What it really was is he has an overbearing mother that's never held this kid accountable for anything he does. But he supposedly beat up a bunch of cops, and he beat the case because he was found to be incompetent. Yeah. And he'll never learn until his mother dies. And I don't even think he'll learn then, because by that time, I mean, he's almost 30 years old, this fucking kid. He's never held accountable for what the fuck he does. And I met the mother. Jesus Christ. One of his kids that way. Kid ain't mental. He's got a fucking overbearing mother. It's a fucking joke. And at times he could be all right, And other times he's just straight trying to annoy you, Shit, I should have got something to drink while I was out. I got water. Fuck. So if I'm gonna Jesus Christ. Here's Comey's response. This piece of shit.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Yeah. Yeah, my boss tells me, yeah, you mean that Republican? Yeah. What Republican is fucking telling you? Yeah. Basically vote Democrat. That's what he's basically telling you. You know what I mean? Fucking ridiculous. Let's have a trial. They should have fucking been banging on that pussy's door at 4 a.m., dragging him out in handcuffs. The liberals were sucking his dick so hard, it was unbelievable. Yeah, I really like this monitor thing, man. See a clear picture of myself. And I forgot, like, all the color is out of my laptop. You know what I mean? The screen. I could get it fixed, but it'd probably be like $150. Fuck that. I already fixed the screen once. Oh, what the fuck? Is Charlie Kirk saying, man, I think it might even be thousands of people have been fired because of what he said, because of what people said. Yeah, and the liberals are screaming free speech, but they fucking basically cheered on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for censoring conservatives. Like, it's sick. Eagles are doing great. Yeah, they're 3-0, and they're playing another 3-0 team today. I think there's only 3. Let me see. How many undefeated teams are there in the NFL right now? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 undefeated teams. Well, there'll only be 3 after this week, unless one of them's on a bye. They got a bye week now. Didn't the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Yeah, they beat the shit out of the Chiefs. And they lost to the Chiefs 2 years ago. Yeah, they beat the shit out of the Chiefs. And they beat them up pretty good the second game, the rematch this year, a couple weeks ago, and they beat them pretty good then too. Like the first half, they didn't look good. I think it was the second half they looked a lot better. Yeah. Yeah, the Eagles are from Philadelphia. That's where I live. Hence Jimmy from Philly. I hate living in Philadelphia. I really don't. I don't like the city at all. I don't like it. A lot of crime, a lot of trash, a lot of trashy type people. You know, there's some good people too, but good people ain't fucking robbing you. You know, and I'm an older white guy in a black neighborhood, so my head's on a swivel at nighttime. Trust me, even during the day. You got to be smart when you're walking on the street. You really, now I'm like a target, so watch your ass. Fuck me. So I've been trying to get Unlimited Liquid back on the channel. I think he's a little down about his life. I don't know. February is still a way to go. By the way, I like Chris Stapleton. Who the fuck is Chris Stapleton? Who was Chris Stapleton? American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He looks like he's country. Kentucky born. Country blues. I live in a safe neighborhood, luckily. Yeah, this neighborhood ain't really that safe. None of the kids have fucked with me. I say hi to them when I see them. They get real quiet when I walk by. And if they fuck with you, you got to handle it a certain way. You know what I mean? Like just laugh at them, or if you get mad, it's like any kid, they're gonna fuck with you. Because we fucked with older people when we were kids, and the people we got a rise out of, we just fuck with them some more. And people can say whatever they want. I don't give a fuck. But the kids around here haven't fucked with me at all. We got a nice park down the street, but man, fucking. You walk through there in the morning, there's trash from the night before. Like a lot, too. It's like, what the fuck? And there's trash cans. Like version of the national anthem. What, Chris Stapleton? Yeah, I'm not really in the country at all. Just not. I'm in the more like rock, hard rock. I probably like Yes more than any other band, but Yes and the Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, shit like that. But rock's kind of dead. I mean, they all these white kids today listen to R&B and rap. Yeah, I don't even want to play that, boss, because I'll wind up getting dinged. You know what I mean? Yeah, most of the major performances now in the Super Bowl are all black artists. You know, rough neighborhoods in Winnipeg are mostly native. Rough neighborhoods here are mostly black, Spanish, black. There's a couple decent black neighborhoods. For the most part, it's you just got to be street smart. You don't do dumb shit. You don't flash money. You know, be respectful of people. I mean, I'm usually pretty friendly, but you know, I curb my tone in these kind of neighborhoods. You know. Well, here, Native American would be Indians. You hardly see any Indians. Or now a lot of black people have Indian blood, but they don't. At least they don't look like the fucking Indians you see on TV. You know what I mean? But here, the U.S. has given them, what do you call them? Reservations, right? And they're like a sovereign nation, right? They make their own rules up and shit. And a lot of the places are very poor, a lot of alcoholism and drug addiction. They're like a defeated people, which I don't understand because, every other people that either immigrated here or even the blacks that were brought over as slaves, they're doing much better than they were. You know what I mean? Like if you're black in America today, there's nothing that you can't do that white people can do. And some of them will disagree with me, but believe me, you can go to college, you can get yourself a professional job, or you can learn a trade, and do well in life. As long as you don't get involved in drugs and start having 50 kids off the bat before you start making money, you should be able to do well. You should be able to. There's nothing stopping you other than yourself or your fucking family. Sad because Philly meant so much for American history. Well, Democrats been fucking up the cities for years. Like if you look at the election, right? Most of Pennsylvania, the landmass voted for Trump. It's just Pittsburgh, Philly, and not all the surrounding suburbs, because I think he won Bucks County, not by much, and Bucks County is a fairly affluent suburb, but he won Montgomery County, which is where I work. The amount of counties, like it's unbelievable. See, a state could be really Republican, but they got some large city and they got them all brainwashed to vote Democrat. So the people in the city don't live anything like the people in the outer suburbs, like the rural areas. They don't live anything like them, and yet they get to dictate how the rest of the state. You know what I mean? How many counties in the U.S. did Trump win as opposed to Kamala, what she won? Jesus fucking Christ. You just can't get a straight fucking answer. They want you to read all this shit. And then they still don't fucking have it. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. How many counties did Trump win in the 2024 election? Oh, fucking God. I want you to read a fucking encyclopedia before they give you the answer. Oh, my God. I can't even. All right, listen, people. I'm gonna go because I got to get ready for this game. I got to eat and shit. Sorry the stream's so short, but yeah. Maybe I'll stream again early next week. I might have to change the time. But I'd like to thank the few of you that stopped by. I appreciate it. And with that, I'm just out of here, man. All right.